This is my little fat cat. Hopefully she stays in her basket and walks around and keeps her body in the field of vision. So let's start standing. I was just at a yoga retreat in the backwoods of Idaho where we had no flat ground. We were doing yoga on towels. And so this is very luxurious right now to have a big old sticky mat, a flat ground. I love it. So let's bring our hands together. And we'll inhale through the nose. And we'll just exhale there. We'll try to stay tall even as we exhale. We'll inhale again. Naturally, you'll get a little taller. Let's start to draw the belly button back so that we can exhale and stay tall. And we'll just take one more breath like this, using the core to help you keep the posture throughout all the corners of the breath. And let's press down through the feet. We'll inhale again, strong legs. Exhale, arms down by our sides. We'll open the eyes if they were closed. We'll inhale to reach up, look up at the thumbs. Exhale to fold forward. Drop the head. Inhale halfway up. And let's step to chaturanga for the exhale. Inhale for upward facing. And exhale for downward facing. And we'll just stay here for 3 breaths. Let's think about a little mantra that we could have that works for us. So one might be inhale, straighter arms. Exhale, straighter legs. Or inhale, push into the pointer finger knuckle. Exhale, push down through the heels. One more breath. And after the exhale, step or jump forward so that you can inhale straight legs and fold, exhale. We'll rise all the way up, inhale. Maybe the palms come together, and let's fold again for the exhale, palms flat on the ground. You might have to bend the knees to get them that low. We'll inhale to fingertips, chest forward, and palms flat again for chaturanga. We step it back and bend the elbows, exhale. Inhale, we pull forward, and exhale, we push back. Let's stare at the left leg. So the legs right now are parallel to one another. Stare at the left leg, keep it where it is, but lift the right leg up. And for right now, it doesn't matter if the hip is square or open, but just make sure that left foot does not swivel in any way. It doesn't change what it was doing. And let's lower that right foot, stare at it. Pretend your feet are still parallel, but take the left leg up and out of the equation. Engage the right quads, spread the toes of that right foot. With the fingers, we still press the chest closer to that right leg. And let's lower the left foot down. Both heels up high for an inhale. Bend the knees for an exhale, look forward and jump. Inhale whenever you get there, straight legs. We fold, exhale. We'll rise to stand, reach up. Pinkies attract. And let's fold again for the exhale, palms flat to the ground. We inhale halfway, and we step to chaturanga for the exhale. We inhale to lift the chest, and we exhale to push back to downward dog. Let's keep the feet parallel, but lower the elbows down to the ground. So now also our forearms are parallel. And just take a few breaths like this. Shake out the head. Make sure that the head is not touching the ground. Good. So with your fingers, keep pushing your chest back. That's going to put more weight in your feet. And now very slowly start to lift your elbows maybe an inch off the ground. And then 2 inches, and then 4 inches, until eventually the arms are straight. And it's much easier to do that when we're pushing our chest back. So once we're in a normal down dog, heels up high for an inhale, bend the knees for the exhale, and step or jump forward. Inhale when you're there at the top, exhale to fold. We'll rise all the way up. Inhale. This time, lower the arms, touch the ground, bend the knees, and keep the knees that bent, just reach forward. Good. And press knee into knee and just lower the fingers down again. So that we know we didn't really come up too much, but a little bit down more. And reach forward again. Keep spreading the toes, keep the weight in the heels, keep the arms counterbalancing the butt. Just lower the fingers again so you know you didn't come up too much. And then let's come all the way to stand, straight legs, reach for the ceiling. And we'll exhale to fold forward. It's going to feel so good to have straight legs. After that, we'll inhale halfway up. Just send the left foot back for warrior one. We'll angle that left foot. We'll reach the arms up for an inhale. And let's interlace the fingers behind the back for the exhale. Bend the elbows so that you can roll your shoulders. And re-straighten your arms. Try to reach your knuckles toward your back foot. Good. And then bend your front knee a few more inches. There we go. 2 more breaths here. We're going to think of the right hip moving back and the left ribs moving forward. It's so hard. Good. And let's just release the grip. Arms come up on an inhale. Fingertips down for the exhale. Back foot forward for the inhale. And right foot back for the exhale. So we're just coming to our lunge on the other side. Our right heel will come to the floor, so it's warrior one. Our arms will reach up for an inhale. And we interlace behind the back, goofy thumb on top. So the way that feels a little odd. And let's use that right leg super straight to push our right hip forward. If the right hip goes forward, the right ribs will go forward. And the legs can scissor toward each other, so that means the left hip goes back. Let the head go back a little bit, the chin will lift, the throat will open. And we'll inhale the arms up whenever you're ready to inhale. Hands will come to the floor, this time chaturanga for the exhale. Inhale for upward facing, and exhale for downward facing. Let's lower to the left elbow. We'll walk the right hand about 6 inches forward so the right arm is straight. And see that your feet are parallel. Stare at your left leg and lift the right leg up, point the toes, open the hip, and try to get the right leg up as high as you can while keeping the left heel down. Maybe it's on the ground, maybe it's just reaching toward the ground, but it's definitely hiding behind your 3 middle toes. There's no swiveling of that left foot. Good, and just lower that right foot down. Bring the right elbow down and straighten the left arm by sliding that hand forward about 6 inches. And stare at your right leg. Don't let it move and lift the left leg. And just like a normal down dog, we're pushing our chest back. So we have quite a bit of weight in that right leg. Engage the thighs. And let's lower that left foot. We'll lower that left arm so that we're just in down dog B. And let's walk the feet back so it becomes forearm plank. If the feet come back, then we can lower the hips so that now we just have a straight line from foot to head. And we'll try to keep the belly in so that our spine is in a neutral shape. We're not in a back bend at all. Good. Let's walk the feet in, becomes down dog B again. And with the fingers and the palms, keep pressing the chest back, then straighten the arms, regular downward dog. Good, right foot forward, warrior one. This time let's hold opposite elbows and gently pull the elbows back. Oh, above your head, I should say. There we go. That would be a logical place to put them though, behind your back. Sometimes we do that. So now think of the forearm squaring to the top of the mat. So this means our left elbow has to move forward an inch, right elbow has to move back, and then bend that front knee another little bit. There, right to there. Perfect. Good. Let's undo the hands, bring them down toward the ground under the hips. We'll spiral that back knee to the floor. And the hands may or may not touch the ground. You're just going to let them reach in that general vicinity, palms facing in. And we'll keep using this front leg to bend our front knee deeper. On the inhale, we're just going to flip the palms up, reach up for the sky and look up at the thumbs. On the exhale, we'll push the palms down and we'll just look straight forward. Fingers may or may not touch the floor. Palms face up. We inhale. The pinky fingers are magnetized together. And we exhale. Fingers come down. One more time like this. So as you're doing this with the arms, try to keep bending that front leg incrementally more and more until that left thigh is just like, no, no more. The next time we'll inhale, arms up. And we'll just bring the fingertips down in front so that we can bring our left foot forward. We'll just step it, and so we can change sides. That right foot will come behind. We'll reach up for warrior one shape, holding opposite elbows. I love when people are home, they have to run off the mat for all kinds of reasons. The doorbell rings, or you gotta pee, or the cats are fighting. There's all kinds of things. So we're trying to use our legs to help us square the hips, which helps us then square the ribs and the forearms. And all the poses are built from the bottom up, but sometimes it is easier if you think of squaring your forearms, you'll feel your ribs respond. So we play with the idea of thinking about the top to affect the bottom also. Good. So let's release the fingers. The back knee comes down. Our chest is lifted. Our shoulders are rolling back. That's how we're going to get our fingers toward the ground. And we inhale to reach up with the palms pressing in toward each other. And we exhale, the palms will press down. We inhale, reaching up. And we exhale, pressing down. Another time, inhale. Take it real slow, so at the top of the breath, that's when the hands touch. And we exhale. Most of the time, we're just moving. The bottom of the breath, we're at the bottom of the pose. And we'll inhale, arms up. And we'll bring our fingertips down in front of the foot or near the foot. Back foot forward for the next inhale. And let's just fold for an exhale. Let's bend into the knees, Utkatasana, that awkward chair pose. And again, let's reach forward so that we can sit lower, because now our butt is going to be countered by our arms. We'll try to keep our butt that low. It may or may not happen. Let's link our thumbs and start to take our arms up and back. So it becomes deeper back bend. Maybe you look up, maybe you look straight forward, but it's going to feel like your knuckles are reaching toward the wall behind you. The right thumb is helping pull your left arm back. Left thumb pulls your right arm back. Good. And let's fold straight legs. We exhale there. And we'll inhale halfway up. Send the left foot back. Warrior one. Arms will come up. Let's go for steeple mudra. So we'll interlace the fingers. Pointer finger will reach to the ceiling. And we'll watch the pointer finger travel higher and higher over the course of the breaths. So there's a lot of energy in the arms going up. One more breath here. The shoulders might even shrug up a little bit. Good. And let's bring hands to the hips. We're going to squeeze the elbows toward one another so you feel like your chest is popping up a little bit. We'll spin the back heel up. Lean forward, warrior three. We lift the back leg off the ground. And with our hands on the hips, we're going to manually lower that left hip so that it's no higher than the right hip. When we do that, the top leg is going to want to sink toward the floor, but we're not going to let it. We're going to keep it at hip height. We're going to energize the inner thigh and lift that left leg from the inner thigh. Good. And let's just place the fingertips on the floor, step back to your lunge. And we'll keep our fingertips either on the ground or on blocks. We'll straighten the front leg as much as we can for an inhale. And we'll bend it again for the exhale. And just two more times like that. Just pushing into the floor to get the leg straight. And pulling with that right heel to get the leg to bend. One more time. Good. And with that knee bend, place the palms flat. Notice that your shoulders are over sort of the wrists or knuckles. Keep them there. Just step that right foot to plank without letting the shoulders wiggle back. Because sometimes we have a bit too much backward energy when we step back and then we got to come forward again. More efficient to just stay forward. Okay, on your next exhale, chaturanga, whenever that happens for you. Inhale for upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. So that we can bring the left foot forward between the hands for warrior one, steeple mudra. And sometimes this is easier if you reach forward, get the hands positioned, the fingers interlace except pointer and thumb. And we try to keep pinky edge of hand pushing into other hand. And that's a lot of shoulder rotation. And let's get the back leg a little straighter. We're pushing that right hip forward. Good. And let's release hands to hips. Squeeze the elbows toward each other. Lift the right heel. Lean forward. Warrior three. It's a push with the right leg, a pull with the left leg. Good. Top leg a little straighter. Reach with the toes like you're trying to touch the wall across the room. And as our right toes reach back, our left armpit reaches forward. One more breath here. And we'll place our fingertips down. Big step back with that right foot so we wind up in a normal lunge. About 90 degrees in that left leg. We'll straighten the left leg ever any amount. Inhale. And we bend, exhale. 2 more times. The head can come to the left shin if you want. It could be forehead on shin or chin on shin. Good. The next time the knee is bent, palms come flat. We keep the shoulders where they are. We just step back with that left foot. One more breath here. And then we vinyasa at our leisure. We can always skip it and meet in downward dog. Not a problem. So we're going to build from where you went before to go toward heaven and earth into a headstand. It's a goofy headstand. So if you've never done it before, look up here. So we did this where we lowered our left elbow and we lifted our right leg. Our right hand was out a little bit so it was straight. Instead of having that right arm out, I'm going to bring it back so it's in line with the left elbow. Then I'm going to lower my head to the floor and use the right leg to help me get into a headstand. So it's the right arm that's in a tripod and the right leg that lifts you up. And you don't have to come up all the way, of course. You could just keep the legs in some kind of a split. But give it a try if you want. It's way easier than it looks. It's not easy necessarily, but it looks crazy hard and it's only a little bit hard. So the hand just level with your elbow. You have it back maybe a little too far. Right hand in line with left elbow. So there we go. Perfect. And then the head comes down. Right leg will go up. And you'll use your right leg to help you get the hips more over the shoulders. And you'll be on the tippy toe of the left foot until at some point that left foot may lift off the ground. It's really a factor of that right leg doing a lot of the lifting. Good. And then just come on down. And let's chill for a sec. Whatever chilling looks like. Because then we have the other side. I know, it's crazy. So sometimes when we do it, we imitate the Baddha Hasta A. What I just did now was C, because we kept the other palm flat. So it may be easier, more of an emotional easier than physically. If you'd start like this, so I'm just doing the other side now. My right elbow's down. I'll move my left hand to line up with the right elbow. And instead of keeping this palm flat, I'll curl the hand around the head so that I just feel a little bit more kind of protected. It doesn't actually make it easier to get the legs up in the air, but it might be a more familiar headstand position. So you could curl the hand around the head. So the biggest piece is getting that left hand to line up with the right elbow. And then what the right hand does is whatever. Left leg is going to lift up. And you're just going to think of a split. So that leg goes as high as it possibly can. Eventually, it goes high enough that the second leg can lift up. Being on tippy toes, you're going to feel now the power of that left palm pressing down. Good. And then we come on down. Perfect. Let's meet in downward dog. We'll try that pose again toward the end, or maybe like an hour from now. It will be much different because your hips will be different, and that contributes quite a bit. Let's bring our right foot forward between the hands, warrior two. We'll rise up. We'll get our feet situated so that that front heel can bisect that back arch. We want our shoulders over our hips, our gaze over that right middle finger. And let's think of a little zipper going from the pubic bone to the belly button. And we're just zipping up our pants. That's going to help us keep the core active so that we're not in a back bend. And let's just pivot to the other side. So we'll straighten that right leg, bring that foot to face the long edge of the mat, pivot that left foot and bend the left knee. Now the gaze is over left middle finger. Two more breaths here. Let's straighten the left leg. We'll pivot around to the first side again. This time we'll keep our right leg straight for triangle. We'll reach as far out as we can for an inhale, and we'll lower the hand to the shin, ankle, or big toe. Good. And we'll try not to put a ton of weight in that right hand. It's more of a feeling of up so that you can get those left ribs back. Okay, next inhale, we'll come on up. We'll pivot around. And we'll exhale to bend that. Oh, I lied to you. It's not bending. Triangle. We'll keep it straight. We'll reach out and down. I noticed in the corner of our living room, we have a big spider, but I think he might have had some babies because there's a lot of little things now. So I got distracted because it looks crazy. So we're thinking spine long, armpits away from hips, crown of head reaching sideways. Good. Next inhale, we'll rise up. We'll pivot around to side one again. This time, let's bend our knee, put the fingertips on the right side of the right foot. And we'll reach that left arm over the ear. And we'll try to look up. Normally, the view is at the hand, but for right now, look up at the ceiling that's right over your face and try to get your left arm to move back so it's out of the way so that you can actually see the ceiling and your arm is not blocking the view. To do that, it means the ribs have to rotate. So we'll try to keep that rotation happening, left ribs moving back. If you want, look at that left palm instead. And if you want, put that right palm flat on the ground. That would be quote unquote full pose. It's harder to get that rotation in full pose. Good, and let's lower the left fingertips to the floor. We'll lower the left knee down and bring the hands to the big toe side of the foot. Right foot will spin out to the side. We'll let the knee drop open. This is lizard. Perhaps come to the forearms. If you're on the forearms, the elbows are slightly in front of the shoulders. The fingers are spread wide and they're gripping the ground. So your hand is still active. Good, one more breath here. We're going to continue in the aspect of hip stretch. We're going to turn it into Ardha Matsyendrasana. So we'll come to the palms again. We'll spin the right foot to face front. And we'll slide that back knee to the pinky toe side of the right foot and have a seat on our butts. And so we wind up with the left knee pretty much facing front and the right foot facing front. And we'll hug that right knee to the left shoulder and twist. If the hug feels good, you can hook your arm instead. If the hook feels good and you get your hook all the way to the armpit, which sometimes takes finagling with that right hand also, then you can reach your left hand down all the way to the right foot. And it takes a lot of figuring out, okay, where's my left arm? Where is my right foot? But really, no matter what you're choosing, the name of the game is inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist more. Each inhale, we're taller. Each exhale, we're either twisting more or we're just trying to get more comfortable in the twist that we've established. But that pre-twist of the inhale height is super important. You can't twist if you don't have the height first. Okay, let's slowly unravel ourselves. We're just going to shift our weight forward into the right foot. Bring the the left foot next to the right foot. Utkatasana. That chair pose again. I'm going to back it up a little bit because I wound up, otherwise I'll be off my mat. We're just going to play with getting in and out of Bakasana. So we'll put our hands about 12 inches in front of the toes. Knees will come to elbows or upper arms. And we'll just use the feet. I'm going to turn this way. We're just going to use the feet to give us a little nudge. And then the feet are going to welcome us to the ground again. So we go from the full sole to the ball of the foot to the tippy toe to no toes. And then we just reverse it and we come down gradually. So just play with this, coming in and out of your arm balance, just so that you can figure out how your feet help you get in and out. Because that helps in not just arm balances, but also inversions like headstands and goofy headstands. And then let's meet at some point with our feet together again so that we can find a normal Utkatasana. And we'll just take it through a traditional vinyasa. So we'll exhale to fold. We'll inhale halfway up. Chaturanga for the exhale. We inhale for upward facing. And we exhale for downward facing. And we can step our left foot forward between the hands. Windmill up, warrior two. And we have our Parshvakonasana with that variation. So we'll just place our fingertips, pinky toe side of the foot. Right arm is over the ear, but we're going to look up at the ceiling. That's right above our face. And we'll try to move the right ribs back, the right arm back. You could also be on the block. That's the same concept as us being on fingertips versus palm. All we're doing is giving ourselves some extra height, which makes the rotation easier. So either stay there or gaze is at the palm, left palm comes flat. Gaze is at the right palm, I should specify. And you're seeing that the right palm is a bit angled. The pinky finger is angled toward the floor. We'll take another breath or so here. And we'll lower the right fingertips down, the right knee down for lizard. Hands come big toe side of foot. Left foot spirals out. And maybe we come to the elbows. And this is good practice for hand positioning. Sometimes folks get real comfortable in a pose like this and wind up with their thumbs touching or their hands just kind of in a little lump. But essentially, you're practicing forearm plank, forearm stand, which is Pincha Mayurasana. You're practicing the positioning for Baddha Hasta Sirsasana C, which is a headstand with the hands like this. Okay, and we'll start to come up again to the palms. Turn the left foot to face front. Slide the right knee to the pinky toe side of the left foot and have a seat. You might have to sit on a block also. You might have to straighten your right leg. Make it your own. And we twist to the left. Good. Either hugging, hooking, or reaching. So if I just hook a little bit and my elbow is on the knee, I'm going to turn to face this way. There's this big old gap right here. If there's this big old gap here, there's no way that my top hand can reach for that bottom foot. So before any reaching happens, I'm going to use my left hand, my free hand, to bring my body close to that left thigh, and then I can reach down for the foot, because now there's no, my hand can't slide between torso and thigh. So that's just if you want to reach down. Still, the logistics of your breath are more important. The inhale for height, the exhale for twist. That is more important than whether you ever in this life hold your foot. Okay, and let's slowly get out of there. We're just going to shift our weight into that left foot so we can find our Utkatasana again, our awkward chair pose. And this time we'll try to come all the way to our butt. So if you have any knee stuff, this is not going to be a great way down, but I just come through a squat onto the butt, and then there we are. Good. Let's just try to bring knees to triceps. So squeeze it in and then clamp your arms onto your legs. And literally on top of. Arms on top of legs. Think you have legs inside. Yeah, there you go. Good. Then let's come to low boat. We're going to extend the legs out and come down basically to shoulder blades. And we'll just stare at our toes. We'll watch that our toes are pointed, and it's like our legs are trying to run away from us. Good. Then let's rise up again, bend the knees, and again try to clamp your arms onto your knees. Triceps and knees are very intimate here. Good. And then just come onto your feet and we'll squat. Let's widen the feet in this squat so that your toes turn out. And you decide, I used to do it with my toes dangling off the mat. That was just what was comfortable for the hips. Now I have it a little bit closer, any which way that you can feel like you're not about to fall over. We'll bring the right shoulder inside of the right knee, open the arms in a twist, and either stay like this or flip the right hand so the knuckles are on the floor, and bend the elbow so that your knuckles are now by your right hip. Then the left arm can come around and we bind. And hopefully this is comfortable enough in the shoulders that then you can process the idea of pushing the left knee back. Just with your brain saying, knee, go back. Good. And let's unravel it so that we can try the other side. So the left shoulder comes inside of the left knee. Now the left knee will automatically go back, but this right knee is going to want to drop in, so you have to mentally push it back. Either stay there or wrap it around. The left palm flips up, knuckles go by hip, hands connect, or left hand holds right wrist. Good. So you'll feel the edges, the outer edges of your feet on the ground here. The balls of the feet stay on the floor, but they're not holding all the weight. Okay, good. And let's slowly come on back to normal. So we're just going to practice the idea of lifting and lowering our knees onto our elbows. So I'm going to I'll face this way. I'll just show you what it's like. So here we are in basically a setup for a tripod headstand. And I'm just going to walk my feet close and just put my knees on my triceps. This is the position essentially you were in when you were sitting on your butt. If I let my butt sink, it's going to be real hard to get my legs up. So I'm going to push my shins into my arms and see how the butt went up. So this would be lazy. This would be active. Now that my butt is up, I can get my knees off. I can lift them a little bit and just practice this part, or I can lift them all the way up and be in tripod. So you decide, but the act of getting your hips up enough to get your legs up, that's what we're going for. So give it a try. Let's see what happens. And for anyone doing the recording, if you are not wanting to do headstand, go back to those ab things we did from our butt. Good. So walk it in as far as you can. Good. Knees come onto triceps. And you're pushing then the shin bones into the arms. And once that feels comfortable, see if you can use the hands more so that now the legs can lift. And keep squeezing the elbows in. The elbows have to stay in enough that the forearms stay parallel to each other. Good. I think you can go up higher, Miss Heather. You could probably get lift off. Yes, girl. Good. Keep the hands really strong. And it's only when we get to vertical that we can fall backwards. If you stay in a pike kind of thing, you'll always wind up back in a comfy spot. Good. So let's meet again on our butts. Take your time getting there. And we're going to meet in double pigeon. So we'll bring our right leg on top of our left leg. And the shins are a straight line. We look down, there's an equilateral triangle here. Good. So if the leg is up here somewhere, you might want to block under the knee, or you might want to straighten the bottom leg. People kind of do either or, whatever works for you. We're going to add on, of course. And over time, that knee will drop down. There's no way to rush it. You just have to do this often. This particular pose you can do when you're not warm. So just do it a few times a day for like a minute. You could just be messing on Instagram while you're in it. So adding on, if you want, we're going to fold a little bit forward and start twisting to the left. So that right hand will come to the right foot. Already it's a twist. If you want more, the forearm. If you want more, the elbow. If you want more, the tricep or the shoulder. Sky's the limit. But the hips are deciding. This is one of those things that you cannot force or you'll wind up with severe injury. One more breath here. Actually, I lied. We're going to go 4 more breaths here. Since it took us so long to get into it, let's just enjoy. In yin classes, you do like 4 minutes. Okay, good. And let's slowly get out of there. We can take any props away. We're just going to meet in a lunge with the right foot in front. Your choice if the back knee is up or down. And we're going to twist to the right. So we're hooking our left arm, which is now a twist in the different direction, but the hip stretch for the same side. So we're still dealing with the right hip. If the thumbs are right at the center chest and the left armpit is on the right thigh, open up the arms so the left hand comes down and the right hand goes up. And then look up at that right thumb. And we'll just take 2 more breaths here. Good, and let's unravel. We'll bring our fingertips down for support. Let's slide our left foot in about 6 inches and straighten both legs. We might put a block underneath the left hand. We're going to head to twisted triangle. So the left hand will be on the big toe side of the foot or the little toe side. We have both legs straight, and we're reaching right arm up, left hand down. Getting the left hand all the way to the floor with the right leg straight is really hard. So that's why a lot of the time people use blocks. Also, the twist is a little bit more gracious when we have the block. But either way, the legs here are crazy strong and you're just trying to keep stable in the legs so that you can twist without fall. Okay, and let's unravel ourselves. We'll step forward with the back foot. Inhale and fold, exhale. Bend into the knees, Utkatasana. This time we're going to attempt a Bakasana jump back. So I'm just going to back up so that I have space on the mat because I'm using my roommate's mat, which is a little too short for my liking. So the hands are about 12 inches in front of the toes. The knees will come to the upper arms. We'll shift our weight forward by articulating the feet. And when we feel like going for chaturanga, we exhale, shoot the legs back. And then we continue our vinyasa. Perfect. And we meet in downward dog. Sometimes folks get stuck when they jump back. They end up just kind of in a perpetual chaturanga, unsure how to get out of it. But just remember, you've done 1,000 vinyasas. You know how to keep it moving. Okay, let's come through and have a seat so we can go double pigeon side 2. Left leg will be on top. And maybe we need the same padding and props. Maybe we need different. Maybe we add the twist, maybe we don't. If you are adding the twist, it does require a little bit of a fold forward. Not all the way, because then you're stuck there, like a halfway. And it's just a slow sliding. If you wind up with your elbow in the arches of your feet, great opportunity to massage through that foot. I like to put my elbow on the floor so it feels a little more like the shoulders in the arch. And we stay here for a little bit longer than we might otherwise. We try to figure out how can we be comfortable, strong, flexible, all at the same time. So the feet and ankles are very sturdy, but the hips are a bit loose. No need to be tense in the hips. And just like any twist, it's crown of head away from tailbone on an inhale so that you can twist more on an exhale. Okay, and let's slowly unravel ourselves. We'll take any props out of the way and we'll step to a lunge with the left foot in front, the right foot in back. This can be done with the back knee up or down. We do a prayer twist over to the left. We hook our arm. And if I hook only on my elbow, it's totally fine. But just like when we did that sitting twist before, now there's this big old gap here between my body and my leg. That's going to make it so I can't reach to the floor. There's just logistically, my arm is not long enough. So to avoid that conundrum, I'll roll the flesh of the thigh in and I'll get my armpit all the way to the leg. Then my hand can come down because there's enough arm to work with it. So it's just putting the things in the right spot. All the limbs have their job to do. Okay, and we head to twisted triangle by untwisting, sliding the back foot in about 6 inches or so, angling the back foot 45 degrees. Right hand is flat somewhere, block or no block, left arm is up. And we attempt to look at the left thumb. Good, and just like all the other twists, crown of head away from tailbone on an inhale, twist a little more on your exhale. So the breath pattern is pretty much the same throughout. The physical pose looks really different, so we get distracted maybe. And let's slowly unravel. We're going to step to downward dog. Shake out your head and neck. So earlier, like 5 minutes ago, you jumped from your Bakasana arm balance into chaturanga. Now we're going to jump into our arm balance, into our Bakasana. So move the feet forward a little bit. So our down dog is a little bit short. We'll lift the heels and bend the knees. We'll look past our fingers and we'll let the knees land on the arm. And we'll just try it a few times until you feel like you can hit that balance. It's going to require a few things. Your elbows to stay in and your gaze to keep moving forward more than what's comfortable. Okay, let's try this. Let's come to hands and knees for a sec. Just regular tabletop. All we're going to do is gently, very slowly place our elbows behind the wrists and then come up again to straight arms. So just going down to forearms and then back again. This is just practicing how to keep the elbows in, because we're not going to let them bow out on their descent. We're going to keep them tracking behind the wrists. What's common in our jumping forward is that people let their elbows splay out, and then your arms are not there to catch your knees. So logistically, it doesn't work. So we have to kind of figure out how we're using the upper back to control this. And don't get too intellectual about it. Just a little drill like this, your body's going to figure it out, and over time, it will cease to be a problem. But over time means like a consistent practice of this particular exercise over a year. So again, jumping into Baddha, we'll just give it a try. If I let my elbows come back here, I'm not going to make it into the balance. This is what's going to happen. I'll just keep my feet too close to the floor. To actually balance, look where the elbows have to be in relation to the hands. They have to be all the way forward, which means this process of jumping is very scary. So just try it a few more times and then we'll call it good. We're just kind of planting a seed. The more the thumb and pointer can serve you, the easier it gets. Good. And then let's come down onto our butts. Hi, sweet girl. Oh, somebody wants something from me. Okay, what do you want from me? Kisses? Okay. Got a lot of kisses for her. Okay, we'll have our legs out straight in front of us. Knuckles will be on the ground, palms facing up. So this is not the normal hand position for Dandasana, but it's a nice way to stretch out the forearm based on what you just did. Hi, you're so cute. Oh my goodness. I don't know what she wants, but I love it. All right, so we're going to reach our right hand. You can let go of the left hand. We're going to reach our right hand for our big toe, first two fingers and thumbs. And we're just going to energize both legs, lift the right leg off the ground. Good. So it's still strong. It's pushing out into the foot. No problem. Then let's just bend into that knee for Mukta Hasta A. We'll let there be about 6 inches between foot and thigh. Right arm will reach forward as far as it can. Armpit to shin bone. And then like you did your bind before, the palm is going to face up so that the knuckles can go to the right hip. Good. Left wrist into right hand if possible. We inhale. Head toward left leg if we can. That's the exhale. Okay, and let's lift the head for an inhale. Release the grip for the exhale. And we're going to return to that squat that we did before. Your choice if your feet are out or facing front. We're going to do the same bind that you just did, which is also the same bind you did before. If you can do it with your feet parallel, that'll just make it so that you have one less thing to adjust momentarily, because we're going to come to standing again. So it's still the right arm bound around the right leg. Good. And any kind of grip will work. If you're holding your wrist, it's going to be a little more solid, but if you're fingers to fingers, it'll still work. We're going to let the hips lift a bit so that the right ball of foot is on the floor. Then we'll come onto the right tippy toes and we'll come all the way to stand, keeping our bind. We fire up the left leg so that we wind up eventually standing. The more we can press into the left foot, the easier it is. And then once we're up, we're just kind of stuck there. It's not so bad. Getting up, really hard. Being up, okay. Let's release the grip and just let your foot come back down to the floor. Shake it out a little bit. And we're going to attempt to stand with our yogi toe lock grip. So just like you did when we were sitting, we're going to reach down, right hand for big toe. You may want to bend your right knee as you rise up. You may not. We're going to flex that right foot and start to stand the right leg is going to come up like when you were sitting, but now you're not sitting, so it's a little harder. But the tension between hand and foot is still the thing that's going to make this successful. The pushing out into the foot. Good, let's bring the leg to the side. Maybe you could gaze to the left. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Keep the standing leg getting as straight as it can get. Good, and we'll head toward Galavasana. We're going to bring our right ankle to our lower right thigh, lower left thigh. Hands to prayer, butt out, chest forward. This is like standing pigeon. If we want to turn it to Galavasana, we put our hands down about 12 or 18 inches in front of our left foot. We bring right upper shin near the knee to the right arm, that ankle to the left arm. We shift our weight and we get our left leg up off the ground. And it's that same thing with the ankle that nudges you forward. And then if you get the balance, you can vinyasa out of it. Good. I will meet in downward dog at some point. And let's come through and have a seat. Dandasana. Knuckles down, palms up. Arms straight, chest lifted. Shoulders rolling back, belly drawing in. Pinky toes drawing toward outer shins, calf muscles pressing into the floor. Quads strong so the kneecaps lift. There's 1,000 things happening in this pose. But if someone just peeks into your house right now, it looks like you're doing nothing. Okay, shake out the wrists, left hand to big toe. First 2 fingers and thumbs get the grip. And to get this left leg off the ground, we really have to power up the right leg also. Good, and we're practicing the push. And now that you know how we're going to do this standing, you might have a different thought about this process as well. All the practices are circular. On the retreat, I was telling them that like minute number 50 of a practice on a Tuesday is prepping for your minute number 4 on the practice for Thursday. It's all cyclical. So let's bend that left leg, Marchasana A. Left arm forward as far as it can go so that your armpit can get onto your shin bone. Then you can wrap around and there's not going to be any gap between the left ribs and the left thigh. It's very stuck together there. Good, and we fold forward for a few breaths. And we try to keep that right leg very strong as we're folding. We're trying to let the kneecap maintain its position to the ceiling. The foot is flexed and the toes are angled toward the ceiling. Okay, and let's let the head lift for an inhale. We'll release the bind for an exhale so that we can make our way to a squat. And if you start with your feet bowed out, when we get to standing, you'll just scoot that right foot to face forward again. Not a big deal. Left arm is going to come forward and around. We'll wrap around the left leg. Once we get our grip, we're going to make a little space between our butt and our heels. Then we can lift the left heel, then the ball of the left foot, then eventually the whole left leg. So we're in our stuck balance, like Marchasana, but one leg is straight. But a lot of power in that right leg to get up. Good, and let's let go of our grip so that the leg can come down. Shake it out for a second. Sometimes there's a lot of shin bone pressing into arm business. And we end up with black and blue marks and people are like, what did you do? Would you say yoga? And they're like, you're crazy. Okay, left hand to left big toe, right hand to the hip. We flex that left foot so that we can get that grip nicely. And when we feel like it, we stand. The right leg is super strong. It is the most important part of this pose. As you let your awareness travel up the body, Try to get that left shoulder to roll back. Good, let's take it to the side. Maybe gaze to the right. If the right hand on the hip is not serving you, you could do airplane wing. You could hold on to the wall or the countertop. Good, let's go ankle to lower thigh. Here is our standing pigeon. So it's the same stretch you get in pigeon, but without all that conundrum of how do you deal with your foot on the ground. And when you feel like going for Galavasana, the hands come forward. They have to go forward enough that your right foot on the floor can be the thing that propels you into the pose. If the hands are too close, there's no way for the weight to shift. So just like we did in our little Bakasana preps, you shift until that leg can come up. You stay in the balance for as long as you want. And it's a very decisive chaturanga exit from there. Or that, that works too. Either way, you're going to get to downward dog, whether it is smooth or jagged. Okay, let's bring the right foot forward to the hands. Left knee down. We'll walk the hands up to the right thigh. This is just Anjaneyasana, just a nice stretch for the left hip flexors. And let's add on a bit. We're going to reach the left hand for the inside of the foot. This is a tempting moment to turn. It's okay to turn in order to get the grip, but then we got to turn back to the, or I should say, not the word back. We got to turn forward again. So one of the ways I like to make myself go forward is this right hand is free. So I'll put that right hand on the left ribs and I'll literally pull my left ribs forward as I kick the foot into the hand and as I bend the front knee deeper. So we wind up just tackling the pose from all sides. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. We'll just change sides for Anjaneyasana, left leg in front. First, we just hang out, make sure it's cool. We don't want any shocks to the system as we add on. And when we can, right arm reaches back, if possible, on the inside of the foot so that the thumb is near the big toe. If that's too much, you can hold the outside of the foot, you can hold the strap. And then notice if you're cheating with the ribs, maybe left hand to right ribs, nudge them forward. Sometimes it's also nice to put that or keep that hand on the knee and keep pushing the knee forward. There's all kinds of things that we each need to deal with. And step one is to feel it out, have enough self-knowledge to know what is your issue in this pose. Let's kick a little bit more and bend the front knee a little bit more. Good. And then we'll let that go. Lift the back knee, quarter turn to the right, Prasarita Padottanasana D. So our toes are going to face the long edge of the mat. We're going to reach for the big toes with the first two fingers and thumbs. Inhale. We'll bring our head down to the floor for the exhale. The head might not actually touch the floor. Either way is fine. You're just really strong in the legs here, and the upper body is just dangling out from the hips. Shoulders back, so that the shoulders are not up by your ears all stuck. Then let's rise up halfway for the inhale. Just release the hands, walk toward the top of your mat. Vinyasa, just to keep the breath moving in case it gets stagnant when your pose gets still. Good, and let's step the right foot forward. We'll lower the left knee down like it's Anjaneyasana, but we're gonna head toward Hanumanasana. So maybe grab a block so that you can wedge it underneath your front thigh. We're just gonna find our version of a split. I do like to put a block under the thigh sometimes, but mostly I just keep my hands there because the block is on the other side of the room. And yeah, it's in a little box, all those things. Good. So while we're here, engage the right quads. That will help us prevent overstretching in the right hamstrings. And we'll take about 2 more breaths. And let's return to our Anjaneyasana whenever you feel like you're able to get there. There's no rush. It's like a little process of crawling with that right knee bending again, our back knee down. We'll walk the hands up to the thigh. Good. So we're going to attempt to open the chest by kicking. So our right hand is going to reach for the inside of the left ankle. Left hand will reach for the outside. So now we have hands on ankle. Turn this way. And then we'll just kick our heel away from our butt. And we wind up with a big chest opener, throat opener, collarbones, pectoral muscles. Good. And your right heel digging into the floor is controlling a lot of this pose. So bend that front knee a little more if you can. Take 1 more breath. Good. And then slowly get out of there. Vinyasa. And we'll go left foot forward. Right knee down. We get emotionally ready. And then we move physically to Hanumanasana splits. Left leg can slide forward or right knee can slide back. We try to maintain some degree of relaxation. So sometimes that might mean just wiggling the head around a lot or the jaw. Okay, and we're going to very slowly make our way to Anjaneyasana. It took us a bit to get into split, so there's no reason it shouldn't take us a bit to get out of it. Once we get to a comfy Anjaneyasana, we reach back for that right ankle, right hand to the outside, left hand to the inside. You may or may not be interlacing your fingers around that ankle, but we'll try to flex the foot and kick. If you can only grab the foot, then obviously you're not going to be able to flex it, not a problem. If you can, at some point in your yoga life, you'll hold more on the ankle. Does not have to be all today. So as you're kicking, your attention is on your back leg. Then as you're Anjaneyasaning, your attention is on your front knee bending more. So you can kind of circle your attention around. You might be do something like inhale, kick into the back foot, exhale, bend into the front knee. Let's take another breath or 2. And then we'll slowly get out of there and let's vinyasa. Visualization can work just as well as full pose if it's done with intensity and intention. Okay, so we're going to quarter turn to the side again in Prasarita. Either foot can step forward, depending on your camera and how you want to orient in your room. Doesn't matter. We're going to go for Prasarita A. So the feet face the long edge of the mat. Hands come down so that the wrists are between the heels. If you can, we inhale. And we exhale, the head comes down so that the 2 hands and head make a triangle. And we have a great view of the elbows. They are right over the wrists. They are not bowed out. Yes, good elbows. I love it. Sometimes they have to be babysat. So if you let your mind wander and you notice that they start to splay apart, okay, no problem. Next time, you'll just cinch them in a little more and you won't let the mind wander as much. Okay, let's come halfway up for an inhale. Hands to hips for the exhale. And we'll come all the way up for the inhale. Stay there for the exhale. Let's just wiggle the feet in so that they're feet under hips. And just turn to face the front of your mat. And now you're in the middle of the space. We'll call this the middle of nowhere. We're going to try to do a very nice headstand, just easy peasy, but coming through a split. So normally if we go to a headstand like this form, this is Baddha Sirsasana A, Baddha Hasta. So we measure it out, we interlace our fingers. A lot of the time we'll come up with two legs together. We'll just like lift them right up. But for now, let's use our splits to our advantage. We're going to have one leg go up. We're going to be on the tippy toe of the other foot, and we're going to let the top leg guide our bottom leg up. So we're just going to stay in a split. We're not even going to try to get the legs together. And then we'll come back down and try the other side. So it's really that bottom foot doing that little articulation that you did before. And you can come as far back with the top leg as you want. You'll feel it out. But just try to keep the idea of your legs being really far apart. Good. And the more the top leg goes up and over, that's going to get the bottom leg up more. So the feeling of split is still there. So you're in your inversion, but you're getting a stretch in the legs. And then when you come down, just try to articulate the feet and then go for the other side so that top leg is reaching, the bottom leg is nudging. Good. And the legs have to constantly communicate with each other so that they can stay in this form. Perfect. No problem. Let's rest for a sec. We're going to, of course, up the ante a little bit because that's what we do here. Not such a big deal. We're just going to change our hands. Let me walk a little bit closer to El Camera. Okay, so here we did this measuring out, and then we did this with our hands. It's the same thing, measure out, but now we're going to have our palms flat. Sometimes what happens is people go up to headstand and their hands just kind of like fling together, or they do something like kind of wimpy with the hands. We're going to glue our fingers to the floor. And I'm just going to back up so that I'm on my thingy again, so my head doesn't explode on my hardwood floor. But it's like forearm dog. We put our head, and then we're just going to do the same thing that you just did. One leg up so that the other leg can eventually get up as well. There we are in our split. And then we'll just try the other side. It's very different if you've never done it before. It's very different for the shoulders, but it's also very doable. Give it a whirl. Measure it out the same way as you would. So fingers wrap around triceps, then you know where the elbows go. Hands come out in front of the elbows. Head comes down kind of between the wrists. And knees come up. And then you'll feel kind of how it's different but the same. This is Baddha Hasta Sirsasana C. The other one we did was A. This is C. Is it it's a mind game, right? It's crazy. And if you've never done it before, even just thinking about it, you could stay in a downward dog type thing, or even down dog with your head down, and then just think of having one leg come up. Visualize that you're in a split, maybe come onto tippy toe. Good, the coming onto tippy toe moves the hips. Perfect. Good, seed planted. Okay, let's come down to our butts again. Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet open like a book. Shins are in a straight line. Knees drop down toward the floor. We inhale and we fold forward for the exhale. We're just aiming our chest to our feet. That would require us then to aim our head in front of our feet somewhere. Sometimes folks like to put a block there so that the head can land. You could have your third eye right between the brows. touching the block or touching the floor. And that would help maybe calm down your subconscious a little bit. Okay, and let's start to rise up. We're going to take hold of our big toes like we did before, first 2 fingers and thumbs. We'll lean back so our weight's on our butt, and we'll straighten out the legs however much we can. For right now, it might be easier if you have your feet apart or your legs apart. All we're going to do is try to flex our feet as much as we can, so it feels like our heels are reaching away from us. Then we're going to go for a Barbie foot where the balls of the feet push away, and it looks like we're putting on high heels. Then we're gonna again do heels reaching out. And then again, we're gonna do Barbie foot. We're gonna feel that our legs get a little bit longer. Just one more time like that, just getting your ankles used to this idea. Good. Then bring the legs toward each other. Balance on the butt and let the legs be framed by the arms. So we're just gonna have our arms reach forward, palms facing in. This is Navasana. Good, then let's just vinyasa. Rocking forward or however you want to get there. Okay, so we've prepped the feet, the hips, the core, the shoulders, the hands, the headstands. We're ready for the second attempt at heaven and earth into goofy headstand. So again, I'll just show you what it looks like and we'll see if it's any easier than it was an hour ago. So here you are with your left elbow down, your right arm forward, your right leg up. The right hand slides to line up with the left elbow. You make a choice about your left hand. Is it going to stay flat or not? And then that top leg helps you get up. You can keep your legs in a big old split, or you can bring them up. Either way. And we'll just try it on one side, then we'll rest, and then we'll try the other side. So all the elements are there. Now they just have to combine into one ridiculous ask. And yeah, good. So whatever is on the floor with the hands and head is pushing. The hands are pushing more than the head. Good. So right leg up. And it's going to reach like it's in that split. And it's a lot of core at this point, and it's a lot of right hand, specifically right thumb. You got it. Yes, keep fighting. Good. Good. And then come down and rest for a moment. I know, tis a lot. Tis a lot. Okay, other side. And as your left hand is there, your hand is in a perfect spot. Now just make sure your elbow stays in the perfect spot too. So the head will come down and that left elbow is going to hug in so it stays over the wrist. Good. Left leg up. That right leg will just walk in as far as it can. It can even bounce a few times on the ground. It doesn't have to be a whole smooth thing. It might be a little jagged at first. Good. And that top leg is crazy strong. As you get to that point where you feel your bottom leg start to lift, push into your left hand and your right elbow. There we go. Nice. Perfect. That's all we can ask for. All right. So let's meet in a different version of Baddha Konasana. This is with more of a diamond shape in the legs. We're going to round the back and aim our head to the arches of our feet. I like to put the hands on the feet to help sort of pull me in, I guess. The feet stay on the ground, but my body can pull in more. Let's take 2 more breaths here. We're drawing the belly in so that we have this being done intentionally. So it's not like We're just flopping into shapes. We're making these shapes happen safely. Now let's rise up for an inhale so that we can just vinyasa. We're going to do a back bend that you've already sort of done in your Anjaneyasana. We're going to rock forward to plank and come down to the belly. For Dhanurasana, we're going to reach for our outer ankles. And you had this grip one at a time in your lunge earlier. So if possible, hold the ankles and not the feet. It is a little bit harder, so it might not be possible yet. But we'll roll the shoulders back and then we're going to kick. The more we kick, the more we open the chest and shoulders and collarbones and throat. So this is a very strong pose for the legs. And the upper body is quite relaxed with the exception of your fingers. If the fingers didn't grip, you would just fall apart, of course. Good. Thighs up a little higher off the ground. Good. And let's release it down. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale for your cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale for downward facing dog. Shake out the head. Good. And let's come on to the shins. For right now, let's curl the toes under. We're going to do this twice. The first time will be a little easier with the toes curled under. We'll start with hands on hips. Squeeze the elbows toward each other. Nudge the hips forward. Lift the chest up. And either stay there or hands reach for the heels, but the hips stay forward. And you can let the head drop back. The gaze is toward the nose. So even if your head drops back, you're looking up at the ceiling, not at the wall behind you. And let's use an inhale to rise up out there. And an exhale just to sit on the heels, rest for a moment. Just feel how the blood is moving. Very invigorating. And we'll try the same thing just with the feet untucked. So that's going to change the way that your leg responds to its requirement of strength. Hands will come to the hips. Elbows squeeze in, chest up, hips forward. And we either stay like that, arching, or we reach for our heels, which are now farther away. And regardless of where the hands are, the tops of the feet are pushing into the floor and helping us get our hips forward. The next inhale, let's come on up. And this time, let's vinyasa. We'll rest in downward dog. And we'll just take about 3 breaths resting. Okay, let's make our way to our backs so that we can do a few back bends from our backs. And you've done quite a lot of back bends throughout the class. Even Hanumanasana, your split, is a thigh stretch for that back leg. So it essentially has a back bend quality to it. So let's place the soles of the feet close to our butt, parallel, hands by the shoulders. And before we lift up, let's just make sure our elbows are pointing to the ceiling, not out to the side. Then let's just come up to the top of the head. So we have 2 hands, 2 feet, and a head on the floor. And then again, we're going to check in with our elbows because this is another location where they like to splay out. Can you get to the top of the head? Wrist issue. Okay. So then, if you were having wrist issues, let's do the first one like this with our hands interlaced under us. And then we're going to attempt to do something hard and we'll see if it works. But this first one, yes, figure out how to use the legs, pushing down to get the hips up. Good. Okay, and let's come on down. And I'll show you where we go with back bends when we have wrist stuff happening. And this is also sometimes done from a headstand or a forearm stand. So I would come up, and this part might be impossible to get to here, but once you get to the top of your head, just walk your hands towards your feet. And now I'm on my elbows and my wrists are no longer really doing much. And then we can try to get the head off the ground from there. So sometimes people do it from an inversion and just let their legs come over into the back bend. It's quite difficult to do it that way, but fun. A little bit wild if you've never done it before. Or any back bend that suits you. Okay, next time. And at some point, maybe on a Thursday, we can do the floppy over. Because then if you're going from forearm stand, then you won't even have to do the wrists at all. So let's do one forearm stand, just so we can plant the seed for the next time. So we'll have our forearms parallel to each other. Our knees come up. Our weight comes forward. So watch where the shoulders go. They're not back here anymore, because then I'd never get my legs off the ground. They're more in between the wrists and elbows. And then we come up the same as we did through those headstands, where we keep our split for as long as we want. Maybe for a year, maybe for a decade, or maybe just for 2 breaths. And you bring the legs eventually to you. This is called Pincha Mayurasana. It is a back bend. It is a very difficult balance, and it takes a long time to learn it. So we're just planting a seed, going through the same mental process as what you did for the headstands. One leg goes up, it goes as far over as it can. The bottom leg does a little bump, little boost. It's much easier if I'm there to like help you get your legs up, but alas, you're very far away. So let's just visualize it. If you don't want to actually get into it, just be in your down dog B and just think about, okay, one leg is lifting up and the weight of it is starting to transfer over, and it doesn't have to amount to anything physical. But it's going to let your fingers and elbows and shoulders and upper back all get stronger. Good. And let's come on down to our butts. And we'll just end with a Paschimottanasana, which is legs straight. We walk our hands down toward our feet. They stop when they need to. And we take a few breaths folding over the legs. And even though this looks easy, it's the same kind of checklist of 1,000 things like your Dandasana when you were just sitting up tall with straight legs. The belly draws in so that you can round your mid back. And then we start to rise up. We'll come down to our backs and just do whatever last pose you need before Shavasana. So sometimes people do a twist, sometimes a happy baby, sometimes a shoulder stand. There is no right answer. When you are ready for Shavasana, you can do it in the traditional way where you just kind of flop out on your mat. Sometimes folks at home like to put their feet up on the couch. Ooh, a bolster. Yay. That's fun. Okay. Let's take a few more breaths here. We'll start to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll make our way to a fetal position on the right side. Letting the knees bend into the chest. And let's gently press to sitting. We'll keep the eyes closed. Arrange the legs any which way, facing any which direction. We'll just bring the hands to a prayer with the thumbs between the brows, relax the face, and we'll fold forward to seal it in. Namaste. I thought my camera was that way, but it's this way. All right. Yay, we did it. Go team. I'm going to press to stop the recording, assuming I can figure that out on this old Zoom.